What are the signs of depression and anxiety? If you've been feeling down and stressed at the same time, you may have been wondering these very questions and if they can even exist together. If that sounds familiar, then you are in the right place because I'm here to answer that question in today's video. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause, Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine, and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, we're going to be going over the most common signs of depression and anxiety. While these two are different, they do overlap. Then we'll cover the most effective remedies that you won't be getting from your MD. It has been shown that these remedies actually get better results than most of the prescription drugs. And finally, I'll be sharing with you the most crucial foods you should be avoiding in order to help decrease your depression and anxiety. Let's dive on in. All right. What are the most common signs that you're dealing with depression and anxiety together? I am not going to list out details of depression and then anxiety. What I'm going to share with you are the symptoms of where there's overlap. The very first symptom associated with both of these kind of brain health related challenges is excessive worrying. It's whether it's about the nuances of the day or what's going on in the world or what's happening with your child or your spouse, your loved one, or, friendship, it doesn't matter. Consistently always worrying about what's going to happen or if everybody's okay is a definite overlapping symptom between depression and anxiety. Another common one is feeling restless or on edge, like never being able to feel calm or just settled, always like being on high alert, which is kind of like a survival response. You've got your guard up, you're hyper vigilant, you're aware of everything around you, and you jump at the least little, fluctuation of the day. Another super common one that these guys share is muscle tension. Now that can show up anywhere in the body. It's really kind of more dependent on the person. So you could have the tension in the upper part of the, neck and into the traps or in the low back. I have other people who carry tension, in their skull or in their hands. So it doesn't matter where the location is. It's just feeling tension in the muscular system is another common presentation of depression and anxiety together. Another one is the feeling of worthlessness. This feeling of worthlessness or like low self-esteem can be very generalized to work, relationships. This itself can be more general feelings in relationship to work or school or relationships. And everybody does have some self-doubt along the way at times. But for somebody who's dealing with depression and anxiety, this is something that's ongoing that just doesn't ever seem to end. Another common symptom is excessive guilt. This is kind of similar to those feelings of being unworthy, but the excessive guilt is coming from different circumstances. The guilt comes from feelings of things that they didn't do or, just decisions that they have made. The guilt can come from many different places, but again, just not being able to get over that and not being able to release it. Another symptom that's like super common, especially when dealing with depression, is just withdrawing from family and friends, society, kind of just staying in your own little safe space and bubble, not wanting to interact because of all these different, worries and feelings of guilt and lack of worthiness. But just also because there's this sense of control that can also happen when you're staying within your own space. Another super common one is just fatigue, like never having energy, having a hard time pulling yourself out of bed, even though you're still probably not sleeping very well at night either, just always overly tired and just exhausted. Along those lines, having changes in your sleep patterns could be another underlying indicator that you're dealing with these challenges as well, whether it's you can't fall asleep at night and once you do, you're okay, or maybe you do fall asleep, but you wake up early, or maybe you're a person who can sleep like 12 hours and feel like you haven't slept but an hour. All of these are different indications of disturbances with sleep and point in that direction of depression and anxiety. There can also be changes in appetite, having challenges with regulating, feeling angry or irritable. You can also be experiencing physical pain with both of these in combination. And the list goes on, but those are some of the core ones. And obviously it's not just one of these symptoms that would be like, oh yes, you're dealing with depression and anxiety. It's a lot of these in combination together help us decide and discern that, yeah, we're probably dealing with some depression and anxiety. But now we got to figure out why. Now, before I get into the most effective treatment that you're not necessarily going to get from your MD, just want to take a moment to remind you to click the subscribe button down below, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up while you're down there. I appreciate your support. I am continually putting out videos about how do you improve brain health, gut health, how do you get a grip on depression, anxiety, just everything to help you be able to take back control of your health so that you can become unstoppable and actually end up achieving something I like to call total body mastery. So again, just click the subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up. I'm doing a good job for you. Awesome. Now, what are these treatments or these remedies that your MD is not necessarily going to give you that work just as well, if not better? This boils down to nutrition. Now, I do have to give you a disclaimer first because I don't know if you're currently taking any prescription medications. So if you are, I would talk to your physician, whoever put you on those medications, before you implement any of these, which they really all should be fine. There shouldn't be interactions, but you want to double check that with your physician. And then also that's helpful for your physician to know what it is that you're doing. Okay. The very first one would be to add probiotics into your life. Okay. There is a lot of research that shows the relationship between probiotics and mood stabilization. And part of the reason being is because the gut is 100% connected to the brain. When you're dealing with depression or you're dealing with anxiety, or if you're dealing with like brain fog and lack of focus and concentration, memory issues, these are all brain health symptoms. Okay. I don't like to call depression and anxiety mental health. I call it a brain health problem. Just like somebody who has heart health problems may have a fast heart rate or high blood pressure, or maybe their heartbeat is irregular. Those are all symptoms associated with a heart health issue. Depression, anxiety, lack of focus and concentration, brain fog. Those are all symptoms of a brain health issue. And if we get the brain health better, the mind will follow. It doesn't always work in the reverse way. So something that we know is that there are more connections between the brain and the gut than there are anywhere else. Ultimately, what you need to know about that is that means that the level of health of your gut dictates the level of health in your brain and vice versa. So it gives explanation as to why we see like awesome benefits of people adding probiotics into their daily regimen in the realms of mood stabilization. And honestly, because of everything we're exposed to and all the antibacterial products that are out there and the chemicals and the herbicides, pesticides, all this stuff, everybody really should be taking a probiotic. And no, yogurt isn't really the best source for these because depending on which yogurt you opt for, you're either consuming so much sugar because you have to consume like 30 to 40 tubs in a day to even get the right amount of probiotics in. And when you consume that amount of sugar, you just killed all the good guys and fed all the bad guys. And that didn't do us any favors. So I just prefer adding in an actual probiotic supplement. Okay. One of the next ones that's like critically important is vitamin D3. Now, vitamin D3 is one of our fat soluble vitamins. So it is really important that you actually know what your current blood level is of vitamin D before you just go out and start taking vitamin D. With that said, majority of people that I test, and I live in sunny Colorado where we have over 300 days of sunshine every single year, majority of my patients are deficient in vitamin D. And this is probably partly because when people go outside, we've been so conditioned to be fearful of skin cancer that we are always lathered up in sunblock. So we're not getting the help from the sun to produce vitamin D, which that is vitamin D. It's the sunshine vitamin. What you need to know is that the brain has the best ability to use vitamin D compared to anywhere else in the body. I can tell you because I've tested for years now. My patients who've been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, ADHD, dyslexia, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, dementia, all of our neurologic brain health types of disease and disorders all have very low levels of vitamin D. So vitamin D is critically important for proper brain function. So it's another one I like to add in to the list. And it's known as the sunshine vitamin for a reason. There's happiness associated with that, guys. So that could be part of the underlying why you're dealing with depression and anxiety, is that your vitamin D level is just in the tank. Another one that's critically important, this is the last one I'm going to share, they're the omega-3 fatty acids, your fish oils. Your brain, depending on the site you source, is anywhere from 70 to 80% fat. And of that fat, the majority of it is in the form of DHA fatty acids. We are severely deficient in these omega-3 fatty acids because of what our food supply and how our diet looks in America. We eat far more foods that give us, omega-6s and omega-9s, which are not the ones that we need in high amounts. We need high amounts of omega-3s. Omega-3s are the building block of your brain. And if you're not getting the building block in, then how can your brain ever function the way that it's supposed to? The other thing that's awesome about omega-3 fatty acids is they're incredibly good at reducing inflammation. Most people who are dealing with anxiety, depression, or other brain health related issues have an inflammatory process happening in their body. So incorporating omega-3 fatty acids in, it's kind of twofold. We're reducing inflammation, which is like putting out the fire that's happening in your brain and also in your digestive system. And then we're giving the body what it needs, the building blocks, in order for the brain to be able to repair itself and to generate new brain cells itself. You have to have those building blocks there. Otherwise, if you don't have the building blocks, how are you supposed to ever repair or create new brain cells? Those are the go-tos that I have seen a lot of research show significant improvements in the realms of depression and anxiety and even other brain health related types of problems. I've even heard firsthand from different psychiatrists who actually have an open mind and will use nutrition with their patients, that their patients get better results with nutrition than a lot of the antidepressant, anti-anxiety medications that they could use with their patients. And this isn't working on masking symptoms. This is working at some of the underlying causes why you actually are dealing with depression and anxiety in the first place, which is the key in everything. Now, I'm super curious. Did you know that these nutrients could actually be more effective than the prescription medications that you may have heard about or maybe you're already on? Just let me know down in the comments. I'm super curious to hear your feedback. All right, what is the most crucial foods you should be avoiding if you want to use diet to help improve depression and anxiety? Well, before we get into that, part of why this is so incredibly important, because this goes back to that relationship between the gut and the brain. And what you choose to put into the digestive system is going to dictate if there is inflammation produced or if there's not. If the belly gets inflamed, if the belly gets irritated because of the different types of food that you're putting in there, the brain is also going to get inflamed and irritated. When the belly is on fire, so is the brain. If the brain is on fire, there is no way that you are going to feel happy and vivacious and, motivated to take on the day. There's just no way. So this is probably one of the most important variables to really work on, more so than the nutrients. But these foods also contain those nutrients, critically important. So foods that light the brain on fire are your sugars, your refined grains, your processed foods, your junk foods, the foods we know we shouldn't be consuming, okay? Part of why that is because they all are high in carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates aren't necessarily bad. It's where are you getting your carbohydrates from? You should be eating a lot of vegetables, specifically the ones that grow above the ground. Eat that every single day. The ones that grow beneath the ground, maybe have a couple of times a week. Eat them a little bit more sparingly. Fruits are really high in natural sugars. And yeah, they contain a lot of great nutrients and vitamins and that for us, but they have a lot of natural sugars. So they also still have the capability of creating inflammation in our body, of lighting the belly and the brain on fire. So we keep fruits at a minimum. If you can start reducing how many breads and pastas and crackers and, desserts, even the salty, like chips and that too, they're simple carbohydrate foods. You can start reducing the amount of those and increasing the amount of good fats that you're consuming and clean proteins. Your brain is going to be so much happier because you're squashing out the fire and you're giving it more of the nutrients it needs in order to function properly. Now, if you don't have any idea what this really looks like, don't worry, I've got an example for you. All you need to do is go down into this description below this video, click on it so it expands. Look for the Eat Your Way to Better Brain Health meal plan. Click on that and just tell me where to send it and you will have it immediately. You can start this right now. The meal plan is designed to not have you be in a kitchen every single day. You can follow that, or you can just simply start making recipes. You've got them all there. They're simple recipes. They don't take forever and a day to make. They don't have multiple ingredients either. They're super easy, and they've been kid tested to prove they're quite delicious. There's also a grocery list in there for you as well, just for ease sake, because life is hectic, right? So go down there, find that Eat Your Way to Better Brain Health meal plan and implement that. And I promise you, you will start feeling better if that's how you start eating. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully today was really helpful. I can't wait to see you on a future episode. God bless.